Welcome. Hello and welcome. Tonight we're going to get into part two of two on relationships, and we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. For those of you who have ever wanted to know how, why, where your relationship failed or why it failed, we're going to show you exactly what it was, and we're also going to show you the things that you can do to have, and be happy with the relationship that you have always wanted. And as always, we have to do it in under 30 minutes. So let's get to going. Okay, so the first thing we looked at last week was you got to be good with you, because if you ain't good with you, you can't make the relationship work. Relationships are a two-sided thing in which both parties need to be able to hold their own in any situation or any given situations. The stronger each individual is, the more likely your relationship is to succeed. The weaker each person is, the more likely you are to fail. Think of it as two mountain climbers. If you have two professional mountain climbers, you can get up the hill in about 4 or 5 hours. If you got one professional, one amateur, then it takes you probably 8 to 10 hours. If you've got two people who don't know what they're doing, then you've got two dead bodies at the bottom of the ravine. So, that being said, let's get into relationships, and let's not have anybody fall off the cliff tonight. All right, the first thing we're going to be looking at in relationships are three concepts, which is resolution, bliss, and delusion. Every time I do something like this, I always do a little bit of a meditation, and some things come to me. And these are the three keys for a happy relationship: are resolution, bliss, and delusion. First, resolution. If you don't make a resolve to take care of your past, you are not going to move forward. If you are still angry with mommy, daddy, your ex, you're taking that into the next relationship with you. So do your best to resolve your issues. If you want to resolve your issues and look at your issues, please go back to the Sage Pyramid. It's in the link, and fill it out and see what's going on. You can do one for your parents. You can do one for your father, your mother, your ex. You can actually do this stuff and do the work. And when I mean do the work, what I mean is that I want you to be, but you're going to have to lift the weights. I want you to be smart, but you're going to have to open the book. I want these things for you, but I can't do these things for you. All I can do is offer you the materials. So, to resolve your past, once the past is resolved, you can move forward. Otherwise, you're just going to be tripping over the same hurdles again and again and again, and the universe will kind of cosmically show that to you. Second thing is the idea of bliss. Make me happy. That is about the worst thing that you can say to somebody. Make me happy. You might as well just say, I am an angry, selfish person who never matured past the 7, and it's your responsibility to make me happy. Bliss is an inside thing, not an outside thing. Nobody can give you bliss. Bliss is something that you have from the inside because you chose to do the things that will be healthy, things that will make you smart, things that will make you kind, things that will make you intelligent, things, all kinds of different things. Bliss is from an inside out perspective, not an outside in. So if you're looking for a relationship that's going to make you happy, stop right now. For those of you who have just turned off the thing, your computers, or put down your cell phones, I wish you the very best of luck, because I know a lot of you don't like to hear that. And the last thing is delusion. Delusion is great, okay? It's the first date thing. It's like, this person's going to be everything I want them to be. That is deluded. I'm going to marry this person, and I've known them for 5 minutes. That is deluded. Though it may happen, you're still pretty much deluded for thinking it that way. So we're going to look at all of these things. We're going to look at resolving your past. We're going to look at creating your bliss. And we're going to look at the idea of wiping away all delusion, all kind of basically bad stuff. I've always said that I'm a big fan of love. I like romance, but I'm more in favor of love. And I really am a passion, because passion comes and goes. You were passionate about those shoes. Now they're in the back of your closet. You haven't worn them for 2 years. You were passionate about that haircut in the 80s. You notice how you're still not wearing it anymore. But when you got love, that's something totally different. Love keeps going. I loved my dog when I was a little kid. The dog's been dead for 30 years. I still love the dog. I don't have any kids, but if I had a kid, the day that they were born, probably even the day before they were born, or whoever I was with was pregnant, love the child then. You still do. You still might have a love from high school or college or somebody who's across the seas, some other place. You love, even though you don't talk to them, even though you don't see them, even though they are not in your current life, doesn't mean you can't still love them. Love is a wonderful thing. And I would choose love and romance any day over passion and romance, because passion and romance is what they show you in the movies, but that burns away and nothing comes of it except for usually heartache. But romance and love can give you a lifetime of happiness. So let's get into how you're going to get that. Okay, first thing, let's talk about who you are. Hopefully, you guys have done that outcome, and hopefully, you know who you are, because who we are and who we present ourselves are usually two different things. I know I've kind of hit that nail on the head a couple of times, but we need to see ourselves as who we are, because most of us try and go into relationships as somebody we are not. I'm going to go in being a big spender. I'm going to take a really expensive meal that I couldn't possibly afford. And you're going to wear heels and you're going to wear tight fitting things and put your hair up and do all kinds of different things and have ourselves a good time. Well, that's great. My question is, can you do that every night? Would you want to do that every night? See, we need to see ourselves as who we are, and we need to present who we are to the other person, not the image, not the representation we want them to see. Wonderful song by Sting. It's called Shape of My Heart. And in it, he says that the mask he wears is one. What I'm hoping to do by the end of this, have you down to one mask, a mask that is you, a genuine version of yourself that you can share with the world. When you come from that place and say, this is who I am, this is what I am, you are far better off than spending 6 months trying to fool somebody and only find out later that they were trying to. You get upset with them because they weren't being honest and doing entirely the same thing that you were doing to them. So who you are, bring that to the day, bring that to wherever you go out to, bring that to your relationship, bring your authentic self. If they can't handle you for who you are and what you are, great, get rid of them. There's somebody out there who can, that will, and those are the people we want to hang out with. All right, so one of the things that in relationships, when you get into them, you find out real fast is that when you are being who you are, because who you are, you live with somebody long enough, you realize that, you're going to find out that they're going to be who they are. And what you become is you become mirrors for each other. You become basically, this drives me crazy about you, and that drives me crazy about me. And what happens is that these things start bouncing off. Okay, we become reflections of each other. We start changing. We start doing certain things that we didn't do before because we're with these people. And there's a part of metaphysics that I'm going to talk about later. And it's a very complicated part where it talks about energy, form, being, resistance, and fusion. We all have an energy. That energy takes a form, usually in the form of a relationship. That relationship comes into being. And when the relationship comes into being, when you're being with that person, the other person's experiences, life, and who they are will give you a certain amount of resistance. Between that being and resistance, a fusion of the two of you. And thus you become a mirror for each other, which is really great because the things that usually attract you will be the things that usually break you up. Ah, she was so beautiful. She was incredibly beautiful. And now I can't stand to go out with her because every time I go out with her, everybody's always hitting on her. Ah, he was so rich. It was great. He took me here. He bought me this. It was wonderful. And now he's working again 150 hours a week, and I never see him anymore. I've got all this money, and I'm sitting in a huge house that feels like a prison, gilded cage. We are mirrors. We bring out the best. We bring out the worst. We reflect to each other, but we choose who we're going to be. Okay. Now, the things that are important at that point when you're in that stage is that you go do the things that you enjoy. Okay. If you're going to be a mirror, you might as well be a mirror that's enjoying what they're doing, as opposed to a mirror that is somebody who's miserable doing what they're doing. If you can't enjoy who you are and what you are, you're probably not in the right relationships. One of the reasons why people love dogs so much is because, well, they just are just totally accepting. You get to do whatever you want to do. You get to enjoy yourself in your pajamas, your hair up, your eyeglasses on, eating popcorn out of your Snuggie, watching an old movie. And the dog looks at you with complete and total love. Why? Because both of you are doing the things that you enjoy. What's the dog doing? He's just happy to be with you. What are you doing? You're just getting to be you, relaxed, calm, and everything else. Now, the next night, you might decide to get all dressed up and go out and paint the town, and your dog will be sitting there waiting for you because the dog enjoys being with you. That's a big secret to relationships. How well do you enjoy just being who you are with the other person? And that's going to be something that is very telling, because once we decide that we're going to be with this person, then you have to actually show up. But before you can show up, you're going to have to meet them. Okay. I know a lot of people talk to me about, where do I meet this person? When am I going to meet this person? All the rest of that stuff. You start by showing up, being who you are, and doing the things that you enjoy. Trust me, there's plenty of people out there who enjoy the same thing that you do. I don't care if it's basket weaving. I don't care if it's needlework or jumping out of a plane. There's all kinds of people doing all kinds of things all over the world. Things that you should do, though, is that you should put yourself out there. And that might be, for some people, going out, going to restaurants, going to the gym, going hiking, going kayaking, doing all kinds of fun things. Whatever you want to do, go do. The one thing you probably are not going to have too much luck with is finding the perfect person by calling Domino's Pizza and expecting Brad Pitt to show up, sweep you off your feet, and also hand you a pizza. It doesn't work. And what will work, though, is looking at some of the, believe it or not, dating sites. I hate to say it, there for a reason. Now, generally, you have a whole lot of people on there that are on some of the lesser free, shall we say, sites. And these people are looking for kind of hookups or quick relationships and different things like that. If you're on Tinder, or if you're doing things like that. Things like eHarmony tend to be more people that are looking for different things, such as relationships and getting to know. And then there are actually ones that go above that. I've got a friend of mine who met his wife and fell in love, and it was a very exclusive kind of, people were looking for specific things. But they take all of your account or all of your interests into account, and believe it or not, it's not the worst way to meet. But do yourself a favor. Know that there are people out there, and know that these people are not necessarily in it for, shall we say, altruistic motives, that they're in it for ulterior motives. Some people are just looking for the money, and some people are just looking for passion. And the thing is that you need to tell who's who by figuring out, within a very short amount of time, who's doing what, which is why I created the 3 questions. The 3 questions I created were designed so that you can figure out if a person's right for you or wrong for you within the first 5 minutes of seeing them. It's a game changer. It's a time saver. It's something that I teach a whole lot of people about. And the reason why is because there's fraudulence, forgive me, so much fraudulent information going back and forth between couples that it's just mind-numbing. So these 3 questions will allow you to kind of figure out who the person is, if they're right for you, and if should you bother to go on. What's the first question? The first question is, how much do they love themselves? That's the first question you need to figure out. Why? Well, it's simple. People can't give you what they do not have. If they do not have love for themselves, they will not love you. If they are a sociopath, they are incapable of loving you. That's just the bottom line. For those of you who are challenged with this concept, think of it this way. All of you who have hundreds of millions of dollars, I'd like each of you to send me $250 million, millions of dollars, please send me 250 million. How many millions do you think I'm going to get? I'm going to guess a hard on this one, because if you don't have it, you can't give it. And if you have that kind of money, trust me, you're not going to be giving away that kind of cash for 30. So one of the things you're going to find out is how they feel about themselves, because how they feel about themselves will be how they treat you. If this person's making 5 cents on minimum wage and he shows up in a Ferrari, something is horribly wrong. People have people have only so much, and you can give only so much. And the biggest problem that I find is when I ask somebody how much do they love me, they say, on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe an 8. And I say, well, how much do you want to, what kind of relationship do you want to find? I mean, what kind of way do you want to be loved? And the person always invariably says, oh, I want them to love me a 10. And I say, but you, and they say, yeah. I go, okay, well, let me ask you a question. Let's say you go into the grocery store and your cut of meat, not on sale, no coupons, no nothing, just a $10 steak. You take it up to the cash register and the register person says that'll be $10. And you say, I have $8. What do they tell you? Tell you to go put the steak back. It's not a negotiation. This is not a good negotiation. If you don't love yourself, it's going to be really hard for somebody else to love you. The reason for that is this. If they do love you, then you won't believe them. So you'll be like, why would they love me? On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm a 4, they're a 9. What are they doing with me? And then a little something called self-sabotage comes in. If you're the kind of person that feels like, oh, I really want a 10 relationship, and I feel about myself like a 7, but I really want that guy to love me a 10, or that person to love me a 10, that man, that woman, whoever it is, to love me a 10, but I feel like a 7, it's again not going to work. And the reason why it won't work is because you're going to always look for something that isn't going to be possible. It'll be always just out of your reach. Like a $10 steak with $8 in your pocket. You're not going to find it. You're not going to get it. If they don't love themselves at least a 10, you're not going to get a 10 out of them. If they love themselves a 7 and you want a 9, they can't give you what they don't have. They can fake it for a bit. I can look really impressive. I got a tuxedo. I got shiny shoes. I got a credit card. I can actually look like a rich guy for about maybe 24 hours. But then what happens? Well, credit card company wants to know why I just blew that amount of cash. And then I'm in trouble because then I have to pay it back. And then, as Ricky would say, I got a whole lot of explaining to do. And that ain't easy. To find out how much they love themselves, because how much they love themselves will be how much they love you. If you want a 10 and they love themselves a 7, then you better ask yourself, do I love myself a 10? Because if not, then you're asking somebody to do something that you won't do. And that's just patently unfair. Don't do that. But do find out how much they love themselves. Okay? Do yourself a favor. Don't ask them how much do you love yourself, because that's kind of a weird and awkward question. Ask them questions that are getting to that. Questions like, do you have fun in your life? Do you like your life? Do you enjoy your job? How do you get along with your friends and families? Do you like where you live? Are you usually happy? Ask those kinds of questions. Trust me, you'll find out real quickly if the person loves themselves or not. Okay? Second question, what do they want? We all have wants. We're all desirous and creatures. We all have desire. And you want to know what they desire, because there's 2 kinds of desire. Good kind and the not so good kind. I always know when I'm working with somebody if it's going to be something that's going to be good or bad just from the first words out of their mouth. When the person says, I want to know, I know that this is not going to be a good situation. It's going to take work. When I hear somebody say to me, I was hoping to understand, or what can I do, or What are the lessons here for me to learn? Oh, oof, love those people. Somebody grew. Somebody has maturity. Because what a person wants will tell you if they are mature or if they're children. I want a big house. Why? So I can lord it over all of my friends that I am rich. Yeah, you're also a child. I want a big house. Why? Well, I grew up poor. I was part of a large family, and I loved being part of a large family. So I'd like to experience that again. And I'd like to have a large house where I could fill it with love and kindness and happy children and create this loving, beautiful home. Right to the head of the class for that answer. Why do you want money? Well, I want to really rub it in the people's faces who thought I was going to be poor. Oh, okay. Why do you want money? I want to help kids. Some guys become a doctor to get rich. Some guys become a doctor to get, some people become a doctor to help children. Go with the one that helps the children, not the one that did it to get rich. Find the people who love what they do. What they want will tell you if it's for them or if it's for an opportunity to make the world a better place, to make their life a better place, to make your life a better place. Their want is either to take or to give. Find the ones that want to give. Find the ones that want to teach, to share, to grow. Those are the ones that are always going to be at your bedside when things go horribly wrong, and they'll hold your hand. The ones who just want, I want this, I want that for me, they'll be the first ones to cut and run. And that's something you don't want. Last thing, well, they say they want the things that I want, which is a great sign, okay? But the question is, there's a resume, and that resume has to go along with the wants. For example, if you ask Tiger Woods, hey, Tiger, are you a good golfer? You might say, no, I'm a great golfer. And I said, well, how do I know, Tiger Woods, you're a great golfer? And then he pulls out like 3 green jackets from the Masters or 4, whatever it was. PGA, a US Open, a British Open, low scores, hundreds of millions of dollars in golf. He's got a record. Everybody's got a record. Hey, Bill Gates, are you any good with computers? Kinda. How do I know? Well, I got this little company called Microsoft. Okay, well, there you go. I want a long-term relationship. Really? That's interesting. Because I just found out you were dating 5 different people simultaneously. And the longest relationship you've ever had was probably about 6.5 months. And you're 53 years old. Do you really want a long-term relationship? And there's just no women on the planet that really could give that to you? Or is there something else going on? We all have a resume. We have a love resume, a romance resume. We all have an idea of, you know, what we're dealing with when we look at somebody's resume. Okay. 3 questions. How much do they love themselves? Because how much they love themselves will be how much they love you. Do not ask for more than what you're willing to give or what you believe yourself to be. 2, ask them what they want. Are they wanting to take or are they wanting to give? And if they are wanting to give, fantastic. What have they done to show you that they have given? I'm smart. Well, how do I know you're smart? Well, I got a PhD from MIT and an advanced degree from Wharton, and I work at Princeton in the advanced applied physics department. Probably a smart dude. Okay. May not be emotionally smart, but we definitely know he's got the horses upstairs. Everybody has a history. Find out the history and find out from more than just the person you're talking to. Again, use differing questions to do that with. All right. So how do I know how much I love myself? How do I know what I want my relationship to be about? So glad that you asked that question, because right here we have the answer. Ta-da! All right, this is a relationship diagnostic, just like with The alchemic pyramid, this has 20 questions. The first 10 questions, please answer with one word. If you want to find this, you can go to toddhershey.com and or you can use the link in the description. And when you go to the link in the description, it'll take you to the interactive class. You can click on the interactive class and it'll take you right down to the relationship diagnostic. And with this relationship diagnostic, you will be able to kind of see everything that is going on with regards to where you are at and where you would like to be. The top first 10 questions are about where you are at. The bottom 10 questions are where you would like to be. You can give yourself a point for your name, and you can give yourself a point for every positive word. Give yourself a half point for every neutral word or a word that you consider to be neutral, and give yourself a 0 for a negative word. Now, let me be clear on something. Not everybody has the same idea of what negative is. I got a buddy of mine, great guy, smart as all get out, incredible artist, an amazing artist. And he lives in the Southwest. And I think his word was struggle. And I was all set to give him a 0. And he said, no, that's a positive word for me. And I said, why? He goes, because I'm an artist. As an artist, we struggle. I love the struggle. I enjoy the struggle. It's me against my muse. It's I guess he had an angry muse or something, but he was just all about the struggle and putting the artwork together, and he loved the struggle. And what is easy for some is a difficult thing for others, and what's difficult for some is easy. So don't think that a word should be something, because this is what society tells you the word is. Use what your belief system is about the word, okay? Don't use somebody else's. Now, the next set of 10 are all about what you would like to see be the situation. And that is, from the day you were born, describe the relationship you've wanted, describe what your relationship you would like today, all kinds of different things. If you start putting in negative words here, I'm gonna have to scratch my head a little bit on that one. You would usually want to put the positive words here. You would want to put the good things that you are looking for here. When you can, go ahead and total up the top positive words, just from the 1 to 10, and write the number up there. And then ask yourself really honestly, on a scale of 1 to 10, how are your relationships? And that will actually tell you. Now, you can do this for a relationship, a significant other, a girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, whatever you want to do. Or you can do it for relationships in general. You can also use this as a very good tool for business and business situations. I use this all the time when I'm doing business classes and working with businesses. And we use it like this. Tell me about the relationships you have with the people in your company from the day you started until today. Tell me about your relationships with the people around you today. Tell me about the relationship that you think you're going to have with the people around you from now until the day you leave. You only get one word. Make it a good one. And you would be amazed. For those of you who haven't seen this, go back. You can see me going through these, and I'll do a little bit of that on this one. So go ahead, fill this out. Take a look. For every positive word, again, a point, a neutral word, half point, no word points for a negative word. And if you have a negative word, when you start out up here, go ahead and write the antithesis to it, or what you believe the opposite of that would be. And that's going to get you what you're looking for. Now, in order to do that and take a look at what this actually looks like, we're going to open up and use this. Okay? Since I don't like using people's names because people tend to get upset with me when I use their names, this person is going to just be referred to as X. When I asked X how their relationship was, X said that their relationship was a 6, which, let's face it, 6 out of 10 on a math test got me a D. Passing, but it didn't actually get me to where I wanted to be. When we actually looked at all their words and added up all the points, it came to a 4. And 4 out of 10 gave me a what on a math test? Fail. And guess what happened to this relationship? It failed. And you can pretty much tell real quickly if your relationship is headed for something good or if it's headed for something negative. And remember, Just as you do this, the other person has their version of you. So please be aware of, just because your answers are all 10 and you're head over heels delusionally in love does not mean the other person is that way with you. I hope they are. Nothing would make me happier if they are, and you guys live happily ever after. That'd make me really happy. Let's take a look at what happened here. So X thought their relationship was unique, but at the time that they did this, it was broken, and they were cordial to each other, but they were kind of in a limbo situation. Whereas they were supportive, the relationship was really non-existent, and they just had numbed out all the chaos and everything else just so that they could keep the relationship intact. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Has anybody ever done that? Kind of not looked at the bad thing because you don't want to break up, because you don't want to have to deal with the breakup? Yeah, I think we all have. So let's go back. Reading up, it says that basically the relationship was intact, even though it was chaotic, and the chaos caused a sense of numbness. What was non-existent was the idea that they were supportive of each other. So lack of support. They were in limbo. Even though they were cordial to each other, they both knew that their relationship was broken. But they didn't have the heart to go do something unique or find something unique. And that's what happened. Now, when I'm working with people, I read this any one of a number of different ways, as we explained with the alchemic pyramid. And with the alchemic pyramid, you can use the alchemic pyramid and the different things underneath the page in which we have the interactive zone. You'll see these questions, and underneath it, you will actually see the pyramid, and then all the different ways that you could read this and figure out what's going on in your relationship. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to use the positive words and the negative words. We're going to just read. We're going to read the negative ones, and then the answer is going to be what the positive is, the positive words. So let's go back to trying that. Okay. It's a broken relationship that's in limbo. The relationship is actually non-existent because both sides are numb to the chaos. And whereas it's chaotic, both parties are numb. The relationship is non-existent and thus in limbo. It's just hanging out there. It's definitely broken. Now, the positive words are from broken to thriving, from limbo to organized, from non-existent to existent, numb to feeling, and chaotic to calm. So the answer to this person's situation was the following. In order to have a thriving relationship, they need to get organized, okay? Once they're organized around the relationship as to what it is, where it's going, and things like that, then it will be in existence. Then they can start feeling calm. But they have to remain calm. That is the feeling that needs to exist. And in order for that, they both need to get organized, and then they will be thriving. So what happened here was the following. Both of them lived a chaotic and crazy life. And neither one of them were very well organized. Neither one of them decided, this is where I want to go, this is what I want to do, this is who I want to be, this is where I want to go, this is how I'm going to treat another person, all of that stuff. So what we worked on was we worked on this idea of calm. We worked on this idea of basically, just existing and being present in the relationship in a calm way and in an organized way. We scheduled date nights. We scheduled different things. We organized their lives so that they could do the things that they wanted to do, so that they could feel in a relationship and not be in limbo of a relationship. Now let's take a look at their answers on the bottom. The words on the bottom are loving, strong, sincere, secure, engaged, loving, passionate, fulfilled, sturdy, and connected. When we put these together, it says that X wanted a loving and strong relationship in which they could feel secure. They were looking to be engaged in a loving and passionate relationship, one in which they were feeling fulfilled, and one in which they felt that it was sturdily connected, or that it was sturdy and connected. So the connection was sturdy. How do I know? Because when we read it back, it says they want to be connected in a sturdy and fulfilled way, a passionate, loving relationship in which both sides are engaged in the security of each other. That is what they would think would be a strong and loving relationship. So the bottom one will tell you what you're looking for. The top one will tell you how to get there. And that's how you navigate it. And that's where you start. There are all kinds of additional diagnostics if you want them to. How to be happy, why people are doing certain things, hidden messages, all that stuff is there and can be revealed to you. The only problem is that it is now way past my bedtime. As far as these video goes, I'm supposed to do 30 minutes. And as of right now, I am 5 minutes over. So as always, if you have questions, please feel free to contact me at Todd@Hershey. Click like, subscribe, do all that good kind of stuff. Doing these is getting to be kind of fun. For any of you that would like to come on, please let me know, because we're going to do some really cool stuff in the future, especially next week. We're going to get into some really interesting topics. Life, death, afterlife. What does it mean to be actually living and living today? So we're going to take a look at all that kind of good stuff. I hope you enjoyed. If you have, again, any questions, let me know. Go out there, have a wonderful time, and best of luck with all of your relations.